Demi Lovato's journey from child stardom to resilient icon is a testament to the raw power of vulnerability in an industry that often demands perfection. The 33-year-old singer-songwriter, whose voice has serenaded generations through hits like Heart Attack and Let It Go, has long been a beacon for those grappling with invisible struggles. In a recent episode of the podcast Las Culturistas, Lovato peeled back yet another layer of her storied past, revealing the profound why behind her decision to broadcast her rehab experiences to the world. It's a story not just of survival but of deliberate choice, a commitment to rewrite the narrative around mental health for the next generation. Reflecting on her first foray into treatment, Lovato recounted a pivotal crossroads that could have derailed her career or worse, her authenticity. "I had a decision that had to be made when I had gone to treatment for the first time," she shared, her tone a mix of introspection and resolve. This moment, etched in her memory, harkens back to her late teens, a period marked by the dizzying ascent from Disney darling to pop provocateur. At 18, Lovato experienced a very public outburst, an incident she's dissected in documentaries like Simply Complicated and Dancing with the Devil. These weren't mere meltdowns, they were seismic eruptions born from the pressure cooker of fame, compounded by battles with bipolar disorder, addiction, and body image demons. "God, there's so many," she admitted, acknowledging the multiplicity of such episodes that peppered her early adulthood. The turning point came in a conversation with her manager, a figure who, in the high-stakes world of entertainment management, often serves as both guide and gatekeeper. The choice was stark: go public with the rehab stint or sweep it under the rug, burying the truth beneath layers of PR spin and silence. For many in Hollywood, the latter is the default: optics over honesty, recovery in the shadows. But Lovato, ever the trailblazer, chose the road less traveled. "But I was like, I didn't have a role model at 13 that was speaking up about eating disorders, and I need to be that role model for someone else," she explained. This epiphany wasn't born in isolation. It stemmed from a profound sense of absence in her own youth. Growing up in the glare of Camp Rock and Sunny with a Chance, Lovato navigated the treacherous waters of adolescence without a compass for the storms she faced. At 13, amid the onslaught of Disney's polished facade, Lovato yearned for voices that mirrored her turmoil. Eating disorders, in particular, loomed large in an era when beauty standards were not just unrealistic but weaponized, airbrushed idols, fad diets glorified as empowerment, and a culture that equated thinness with worth. American songstress believed that it was the responsibility that she wanted to take on because she never had anyone at the time of her growing up to look up to, she reflected. This sense of duty transformed a personal crisis into a public mission, positioning Lovato as an unwitting pioneer. She wasn't the first actress to whisper about such issues. Figures like Portia de Rossi in Unbearable Lightness had cracked the door open, but none resonated with the tween demographic drowning in the same toxic tide. The Camp Rock alumna elaborated on the scarcity of relatable figures during her formative years. The Camp Rock star, however, further said that there were a few actresses who did raise their voice on similar issues, but there were none she could relate it at the age of 13, Lovato noted. This disconnect fueled her resolve. In an industry where child stars like Britney Spears and Lindsay Lohan became cautionary tales, Lovato's choice to amplify her voice was revolutionary. It echoed the ethos of her 2017 album Tell Me You Love Me, where tracks like Father and Sober laid bare the fractures of fame. By going public, she didn't just share her story, she dismantled the stigma, proving that transparency could be a superpower. The ripple effects of that decision have been seismic, especially at the time when the beauty standards were very dangerous. "And so, I wanted to be that for other people," Lovato continued, evoking the early 2000s obsession with waifish silhouettes and unattainable glow-ups. Today, as movements like #bodypositivity and #mentalhealthmatters gain traction, Lovato stands as a foundational force. Her openness paved the way for peers like Selena Gomez, who credits Lovato's candor in her own bipolar disclosures, and Billie Eilish, whose raw lyrics owe a debt to such trailblazing honesty. Yet, this role of role model came with its burdens: constant scrutiny, armchair diagnoses, and the exhaustion of living as an open book. Lovato's philosophy crystallized in her podcast Reflection. "That's why," Demi added, "I've been open about all of my struggles, as in that moment when I made that decision, it set the tone for the rest of my life of like, I want to help people." This isn't performative activism. It's a lifelong covenant with her audience. From her near-fatal 2018 overdose, which she chronicled with unflinching detail, to her advocacy with the Lovato Treatment Scholarship Program, every revelation serves a purpose. She's spoken at the United Nations on youth mental health, partnered with brands like Fabletics to promote inclusive fitness, and used her platform to destigmatize therapy. And the best way that I know how is sharing my personal experience with them, she concluded, underscoring the intimacy of her approach. This ethos extends beyond rehab to the broader tapestry of her recovery. Lovato's sobriety journey, marked by relapses and triumphs, mirrors the nonlinear reality of healing. Albums like Holy FVCK, 2022, blend punk rock rebellion with gospel-infused redemption, channeling her experiences into sonic therapy. She's candid about the dance with the devil that nearly claimed her, including the opioid crisis that ravaged her circle. In Las Culturistas, hosted by comedy duo Joel Kim Booster and Bowen Yang, Lovato found a light-hearted yet probing space to unpack these layers. The episode, which aired amid her promotional cycle for a potential memoir, highlighted how humor can be a balm for heavy truths. Critics might argue that such openness invites exploitation, turning pain into profit. Lovato counters this by emphasizing agency, her narrative on her terms. She's mentored countless fans through direct messages and live Q&As, fostering a community where skips, relapses, aren't failures but footnotes. This philosophy has influenced global policy. Her 2021 testimony before Congress on fentanyl pushed for bipartisan addiction reforms. For young listeners, especially those aged 13 like Lovato once was, her story is a lifeline, a reminder that the dangerous beauty standards of yesteryear are yielding to a more compassionate paradigm. As Lovato navigates her 30s, her legacy evolves. No longer the girl in the Tinseltown spotlight, she's a multifaceted artist, actress in Chilling Adventures of Sabrina, producer of documentaries and philanthropist via the Demi Lovato Company, Lab for Safe Nightlife. Her decision to go public wasn't a whim, it was a recalibration of fame's purpose. In a world where filters obscure truth, Lovato's unvarnished rehab revelations remind us that true strength lies in the sharing. It's a choice that continues to echo, inspiring a chorus of voices to break their own silences.